October 13th, 2025, and we are having massive breakthrough, massive progress for the business right now when it comes to our mindset, our leadership, our intentions, our level of accountability, raising your standards. Everything is progressing at a seems almost exponential at this point, because it seems like every single day Matthew and I have new breakthroughs to go over. The main thing right now, just in this season, to really hone in on, there's a few things. One is raising the standards with ourselves first, to lead by example, to then increase the standards of our team. Because if the standards of our team increases, then our entire, and actually take ownership of the results and actually own the outcomes and perform at the highest level that they can possibly be for their positions, our results will increase based on our current inputs. Based on those future inputs of the level of self-identity that they need. So now the problem that my brother and I need to solve is, how can we apply the pressure that we intended to apply in July, which was basically signing all these clients and only these guarantee models so we could put pressure onto the back end, which we now realize that most of that pressure was actually allocated to me. It wasn't actually allocated to my team. And I was in this phase of me taking on the burden, stress, and workload of making everything work out and basically telling my team what to do by pointing, here's a problem, go do this, and just assigning tasks by itself. When the actual next level to this is empowering the team to take full ownership of the task themselves and them performing the task better than I could ever do it. And them being self-sufficient enough to do the inputs required to grow whatever outcome and responsibility they actually need to take ownership of. So that's when everything clicked. And then Matthew and I just finished a leadership meeting a few minutes ago, where we went over our operating expenses, our projected income for this month of October, and also our projected expenses and our projected net income based on if we sign a few clients and we maintain the same KPIs and we get some renewals as well from 3-month guarantee that we signed in July. Our projected income for the business would be around $44K, and the net operating total expenses would be around 23. So something around 16 to 18 gross profit after operating expenses. So we realize this is helpful for us to know to start making the other decisions on at what point will it make sense for us to, hire CSM? What's the main bottleneck? What should we project in terms of our offer? It helped us add clarity on other decisions we're making in the business, whether or not Matthew has to make a guarantee on, he's ramping up front end right now again. And we don't know actually if we can guarantee results based on our recent results, which have been drastically underperforming results, but we're making so many rapid changes in a rapid changing environment with Meta Andromeda, where it's I believe that results can turn around very quickly with this new Andromeda update with Meta, and the rate at which we're making changes and creative updates and everything to do with our product. And my beliefs, my leadership skills, and the team, everyone's growing at an exponential rate, I believe, to where we can see fast results. And so very well, we could start seeing some data come through, and a lot of our accounts go into green, into KPI, and we get very good results. But right now, based on previous history, we can't make guarantees based on previous data because Andromeda just released in July. And so much of our advertising campaigns itself, the creatives and the ad angles, they're just flawed because we just haven't been advertising right. Tracking stage 4, stage 5 leads, and there's so many processes in our actual psychology of our marketing that just hasn't tapped into the audience segment of Facebook, where it's people ready to go, ready to buy good quality leads, because we've been mainly just positioning based on price basically for roofing. Anyways, that's a whole nother thing, but what this means for us is we have to wait until like we actually start seeing better results, which I believe is fast. Again, like I believe my team are making the inputs required to grow at an exponential rate, because again, everything stemmed from that breakthrough that I had as well on identity. And the identity is the top 1% version of ourselves that would take complete ownership, that's making the income we want, that's growing Clive to the goals that it needs. Like we are operating, and our standards are actually at that level. And I realized, like, if we want to embody that new identity, the unseen identity of ourselves, and believe it to be true, and like manifest the version of ourselves that we can't see, but we believe that we already are, like our actions, our emotions, everything that will be produced as a byproduct will already come. So if I just work on the team, their identities, their actual self-belief, their of course, their accountability and coachability to actually doing the right inputs and getting the right tools to enable them, to equip them to excel at the right level, which we are. Like, we're making so much progress with that. Attribution sheets I built out over the last few days. It's just been really good. Like, we are going to get way past 7 figures. Like, we very well go to 8 figures. Like, just imagine a powerhouse of like 8 people just like operating at this new wavelength, this new frequency, improving every aspect of their life, showing up at the work at the highest level, generating hundreds of leads a day, booking dozens and dozens of appointments a day. We're going to make so much money. Like, we just literally do simple math. If we book like a couple hundred appointments a month, like 500, 600 appointments a month, like we would literally make $100K a month profit. Like, the potential here is insane, and I believe I see the vision for us to get to the point. It all comes, and Matthew and I would work less too. That is the crazy part. We get an automated, motivated, delegated team who are actually wanting to work for us and show up for Clive and show up for every part of our business that consistently brings in income. They show up at the highest level version of themselves that they want to be, how it ties into their personal lives. Like, I see the vision of every single one of us living the lives we want, making the income we want, growing the business as we want, and professionally, personally, spiritually, mentally, emotionally, all making progress and achieving the top 1% identity of ourselves. Like, that's ultimately what it comes down to. And, okay, so going back to like, there's also another bottleneck or project you could say that we're considering is like when or not it makes the right decision to hire CSM. Matthew and I are still kind of in the ideation phase. Like, my opinion is like sooner is better, but Matthew also brings some good, like, cons to this of like, right now just our product isn't where we want to be. Am I even tracking my time? I haven't really been intimately tracking my time to actually know what a CSM would alleviate with. Now, Matthew is ramping up front end, which will increase onboarding and check-in call cadence, which will take up more of my time. But it's like, okay, if I actually take that on, like, where's my energy going? Again, I want to build a business of freedom and of eventually I want to get a CSM, right? But just timing of when is kind of what we still need to get in alignment on. But that's like something else we're pushing off. Matt, we went on to meeting later. That we'll figure out that later. But I actually booked a call with two guys. So Matthew met a guy at a networking event, sales networking event in Austin last September, who knew a CSM who's actually looking for work, who's based in the US. And I booked a call with him. His name's Chris, on Wednesday. And then I also booked a call with, I watched Eddie Malouf recently posted a video on like how he's trained like 400 plus remote team members, and like his takeaways, what he does. And he uses this company called, I think, RemoteX. It's kind of like a Remotely or something, but it's like actual really, really good quality virtual employees from Lebanon who are fluent in English. They have the same work ethic as like Southeastern Middle East culture. It's a very good work ethic, but they're significantly cheaper than US based employees. And he like highly recommends the company. In fact, I think Eddie Malouf partners with this company. So I booked a call with him on Wednesday as well. Again, not to make fast decisions and like hire CSM immediately, but like we're kind of just counting like potentially maybe in the next 30 to 60 days and kind of get prepped for that. So like I'm in the phase of, again, I also need to flush out like CSM SOPs, tracking my time, making sure that we set and onboard the CSM, because the CSM is like one of the most integral positions of our company, because he's client facing, he's or she's going to be like, interacting with the clients. Like, they need to be understand American culture. Like there's so many expectations that we need to build out and still flesh out. So that's just another side project that I need to set the expectations on. And also create the identity. Identity is the most important thing. Me creating what is a top 1% version of the CSM do, operate, what is his outcomes, what are his responsibilities, what are his standards, what does he think about, what are his character traits, what KPIs does he be hitting. Yeah. So that's another project that I have lined up for this week. What else? There's also like our ability now is so good having like, if you're a business owner watching this, having a CPA is one of the best decisions you could ever make for your business, because being able to track where your money's going, your profitability, also taxes, like it was so high leverage. Matthew and I invested, well, we've had the privilege of having our mom helping us with finances and tracking this, doing our bookkeeping and partnering and working with CPA to help us basically project and manage our finances like to a T. And Matthew and I can easily just go to like QuickBooks, look at our profit and loss sheets on a monthly basis, see where the money's going, look at our profitability. And this has helped us make so many data-driven decisions and actually determine, like, are we building the business that we want? Do we have enough cash reserves to, you could say, I learned this from Taylor Welch, it's called runway. It's basically how much cash do you have on reserve, like right now, for your business to stay afloat based on its current operating expenses. And right now, I would say our runway, just kind of thinking in my head, based on our, probably just be like maybe a couple months. Like if we made no more revenue, yeah, probably just be a couple months. So we want that to be like, 6 to 12 months. That's when like we build a true business, is having enough cash on hand to comfortably say, hey, even if we do nothing the next year, we can still pay our bills and like don't grow or don't get better results. So like, yeah, there's a lot of good things in that too. So hire CPA, hire bookkeeping, do your taxes right. Don't be the agency who doesn't pay their taxes or taxes from the start. Really any business. Yeah, bookkeeping, just looking at like QuickBooks so neatly is also it's just very satisfying as a business owner. Second thing is, or what else? I think those are the main things. I wrote down on the leadership doc, like a lot of other side projects I need to work on. Oh yeah, I have a lot of check-in calls tomorrow with clients who are going to be renewing their, renewing their calls. So I have to make sure that I operate them at the highest level, or like conduct my calls at the highest level for them. And it's refund and guarantee and revenue that needs to be like collected if I do those upsell calls correctly. So I know I'm confident in my abilities. Like there's another thing I want to document, which is like my confidence in myself has greatly improved. And like my like understanding of things, again, my perception has really changed for me. Like I can have instant clarity on these things. It's almost like and it's crazy. Okay. Oh, this is the other thing I want to document. Matthew and I had a huge breakthrough today. He sent me a Motivation Monday like clip from Growth Day by Brendan Burchard with Ed Mylett. And it was insane. And I was like taking notes on this. I was like, it was a huge takeaway for me. It was the concept of decision making and how indecisiveness, making less decisions, will actually will cause more distraction, will cause mental fatigue, and will actually prevent you from living a life of freedom. Because most people think that having options available to you is not freedom, because you go through decision fatigue. And he said that going all in, like the importance of going all in on one thing, actually it doesn't limit freedom, it creates freedom. Why? Because when you have so many options going for you, he gives the example of like, if you want to become an NFL quarterback, you don't play football, and you also play golf, and you play soccer, and then you're competing against a guy who only focuses on being a great quarterback. Obviously that guy's going to get smoked. It's the same in business. You can't start 9 businesses at a time and half-ass like 1/9 of your potential, right? Your energy has to go to one thing. And this is so to be the case, because for me, I've seen my life change with this principle, giving my life to Jesus. Because when you go all in on one thing, this can apply literally everything. Same with relationships. Same with your like training programs, to your fitness. Same with business. Same with like religion. because most people are like half one in, half out, but they're not all in on Jesus. And like, I can't tell you the level of freedom that I found in walking, just going all in on Jesus. So anyways, like it was a big breakthrough for me because I realized that like, I need to have an intolerance of lowering my standards and giving into like having all options at once and not committing 100% fully to this goal of scaling Clive to past 7 figures and 100K per month. Because if it's like an if, or like I have a backup solution, like no, that means you're not all in. And I need to have this level of like standard and conversation with myself. But yes, here's the thing. I've had this type of mindset before, but I haven't gotten to this place again since I actually gave my life to Jesus, because before it was like 2023. It's like, I will do nothing to stop at like becoming financially independent and growing my business, right? But what happened? God led me down a spirit of idolization and condemnation and hating myself, or thinking that my self-worth is less if I don't perform or achieve the standard that I want to hold myself at. Because now, like with my understanding and security and identity, like I can go all in on the business and walk with Jesus at the same time. And that was insane, because it's coming from a completely different place. It's not coming from a place of trying to prove my worth or of condemnation or like fear, but of just like love walking with the Lord to achieve something great. Because Colossians 3:23-24 says, whatever you do, work at it with all your heart, not for human masters, but as for working with the Lord, for you will receive an inheritance from the Lord as a reward. And now I'm beginning to realize that like I can build this business in the will of God. And if that's the case, all I desire is just His will to be done. So there's nothing I want more than to glorify God. And I do believe that like it's part of His will for me to become a better leader, better business owner, higher my income, like live the life of a 7-figure CEO at the young age that I am. Like I do believe this, and it's so assuring, because it's not like I have to go like half in, half out. No, I can go all in, but with Jesus walking by my side. And this is just a huge breakthrough for me and for Matthew, like, and I know for my team as well, because same with our team, like we got to be telling our team these takeaways, like helping them develop their like understanding about decisiveness and standards and high performance and their relationships with God too. Cause like, oh my gosh, just imagine everyone has the identity breakthrough of their victorious identity in Christ. And we all share the same vision and same mission and purpose to grow the business. Oh my gosh. I don't even know. We could build 9 figures. And I believe God has a plan for that in the next season of my life. But with Clive right now, the goal is 7. And I believe we're getting there. I'm so hyped for the potential opportunity. Yeah, it's just like really big breakthroughs. Good reflection. Good recap to myself. October 13th, 2025. Elijah Kim, 7 figures, coming soon, baby. Let's go.